Tim Paulson, back-to-back amazing finishes. He's sitting at fifth. He won't be there for much longer. 2 rounds, 22 toes of bar, 11 box step overs. Nate Matthew taking
2, 1,
event 5
go.
for heat number
Relapse.
3. Look at that posture. Look at how he's carrying himself. A little head bob. He knows he's built.
All right, last lap, round 1.
Drew Wayman really showed us his make up a ton of ground on these box step overs.
All right, monster rope flips.
Paulson is one of the few athletes that kept his shirt on. Saxon Panchak is absolutely ripping these box step overs. He's got mid-pat coming to the box, but as you look to with Wayman in the previous heat, is that speed on the box is very important. Look how Patrick was holding it. He created a dimple in the ball with kind of hook gripping, or in jiu-jitsu we call that a monkey paw grip. Tim Paulson is done first as they have 1 round remaining. Paulson's nearly to the rig as Panchak, Chandler, Martins.
10 left.
Look at Paulson looking back. He made a return of ground on the box step over, so we know he has that movement to finish to maybe make up some ground here. He's looking left and right, seeing how much time he can actually rest.
5 left.
Popping up on these toes to bar. Chandler Smith just laboring as he's trying to get back to the rig for a second round of toes to bar. Paulson started all the way over to lane number 9. Taylor Self.
2.
Far right side of your screen.
1. Got to drop it.
Athletes on the rig. Nick Matthew is
Bubble
just getting to his second round. Nick Matthew hoping not to give away what he just got in event 5 here in event number 6. First of the rig in lane 3. Tim Paulson, headband, long red hair. Chandler is absolutely tearing into this final set of toes to bar. That's his first break. Only had 1 rep left to go, trying to get through that. Chandler chasing down Cole Merns. So Merns had a huge second set of toes to bar. And he needs it because he
Last lap, round 2.
wins event 5.
All right, monster rope.
One thing that may be good for him is that as Allison Spencer just finishes, is that man Scott Tedlow. Scott Tedlow has had a bad back-to-back event here to start the lane. Tedlow is only sitting in 4th, just 9 or 10 points ahead of Matthew. And with Tim Paulson doing so well in both of those events, only 1 point back, you know, Paulson's ahead of him. Matthew doing well at least one of them. Anthony Davis is in. Gamboa did well in the first one. Middle of the pack, the second one. Taylor Self actually made a run and top towards the end of that too. And then you look up above that, Chandler Smith at 1,500 for event 5, 290, 289, 280 for Nick Matthew. Paulson might find himself in second after this first 2 events of the day. He was really the most consistent athlete in both of these tests across the board. Just behind Nick Matthew in second in the first part, and he wins this second portion. He might take 196 points. That's huge. Tim Paulson has just been battling all weekend long, just trying to stay in the top 5. But he done himself a huge favor. Could find himself up in the top 2. And we are getting spoiled here on the individual side because no one is safe. Definitely no one is as safe as they thought. Tim Paulson, 355, will take event number 6, sponsored by Thorne.
1.
Drew Wayman good enough for second.
Got it.
Mertens, that was huge for Colton Mertens after what happened in event 5. And early on, just like we saw in the previous heats with the short 2-round workout. It was a close race through the first round. A handful of athletes, Chandler Smith, Saxon Panchik, Tim Paulson, all in the dead heat going into the second set of toes to bar. But more importantly, Tim Paulson with a retired round in the box step over. So Colton Mertens went unbroken in his toes to bar. Paulson was able to track him down almost immediately in this set of 11 to close the event.
Last lap, round 3.
Good back-to-back events for Tim Paulson, and here is what we have to finish out the day in 2021 Games.
All right.
For the men and women. I mean, we have a tie at the top of the leaderboard. We have an near tie at the cut line for the women. We're still tabulating points for the men. It is going to be a barn burner. Buckle your seatbelts and grab your popcorn. The final action for the individual men and women will be coming up next in the 2021 Granite Games.
4 weeks ago, we came together as a senior leadership team. We're trying to create a strategy that's going to help our affiliates rebound post-COVID. And thought the best way to do that was to reflect over 130 years of affiliate ownership together in one room, start talking best practices and how we strategize, operationalize them, and then, of course, distribute that to the broader community. Tapping into 130 years
7 left.
ownership is eye-opening. You know, the diversity that we have here, the different geographic representation, and being able to talk through the challenges, how they navigate those challenges, and learn from them is really, really powerful.
3,
What's magical
2,
about CrossFit affiliates,
1.
you walk in,
Got it.
that energy, that community, that sense of belonging
All right, 12.
is consistent across the and you know, you hear these anecdotes from people when they drop in boxes, regardless of where they are, about the experiences they've had. Not only is the experience great, it prepares you to take on the challenges they will face in life, regardless of what's thrown in the way. And that's what I think the methodology is so powerful.
The 2021 Noble Crossing semifinals are presented by Fitting. We're at the Granite Games for the Viking Lake Sports Complex in Eagan, Minnesota, as we get set for the final event for the individual women and individual men to determine who will be making their trip to Madison, Wisconsin from the Granite Games. I'm Chase Single, alongside of me is Tommy Marquez, as Derek Forrest will be joining us a little later in the broadcast. And Tommy, what more can we say about the importance of the first 2 heats having an impact on the final one?
Especially with some of these points races, anytime you have 20, 25 points or less between spots that could potentially decide who's going to the games, man, all it takes is 1, 2 strong performances for someone who found their wheelhouse late in this competition with an event like this and hang on. It's a short one.
Event like Hang On, an individual event number 7, presented by Fitting. We have something like legless rope climbs, heavy devil presses, and an overhead walking lunge with 2 dumbbells. There's a lot that can go wrong in such a fast-paced event. Anything can happen, and how this is going to work, we will do the first 2 heats of women, followed by the first 2 heats of men, and then work into our final heats of both women and men after this. Your Heat 1 starting list. After 6 events, these are some of the athletes that aren't in contention for a spot at the games, but may have an effect on who goes to them.
Yeah, in other sports, it's called playing the spoiler role, where maybe you may not be in contention for the playoffs, but you're playing someone who is, and you can mix things up just a little bit.
Heat one underway, 7-minute captive event, so very, very fast-paced final. Something we've seen in years past at the regionals is that makes it a very exciting sprint to the finish, and it'll start with 20 cows on the road.
A nice quick event to close out the weekend, high intensity, and more importantly, you get that little march to the finish with something like the dumbbell lunge that can lend itself to some fireworks like we saw at the games a few years ago with teams like Toomey and Saunders. We've seen it to close out regional chippers in the past. Something about that movement just makes it a nice little cherry on top for this weekend of program.
The second time the leaderboard is a mom of a 2.5-year-old Ariel Lowen. And our friends over at Fitting want to tell you, to learn more about the mothers of fitness, as they prove that being a strong mom is so much more than just fitness. Join the conversation now in the Facebook group Mothers of Fitness at fittingmoms.com. Two legless rope climbs next in line for these athletes, followed by 3 regular rope climbs. And after what these athletes had to go to in events 5 and 6, Tommy, I can only imagine how that pull feels coming off that rope.
Considering we did a ton of toes to bar, a little sneaky grip work of trying to hold that D-ball, pulling that D-ball off of the floor. You couple with the fact that it's hot outside, there's a fast turnaround, and even though it's only 3 legless rope climbs, 2, excuse me, has the potential to tax the grip just enough where you're seeing a few athletes starting to struggle as they get towards the top.
And after that, we have the bonus of doing 3 more regular rope climbs after that. So 5 rope climbs coming off the row, or 2 being legless to start for the women. In the middle, we end up doing 3, followed by 3 regular rope climbs. Don't worry about your pulling muscles because you got some heavy left dresses.
Or just about to say that.
And up the rig first, it's actually Paige Powers. And lane number 5, as she'll work into her 9 devil presses. Now, the rules for this here at the Granite Games is chest must touch the ground, and the dumbbells just need to finish overhead. How you get there, totally up to you.
You usually have to widen out the dumbbells just a little bit to give you some room for your chest to fit in between.
Athletes will advance the dumbbells every 3 reps. Paige Powers in lane number 5. We have 3 teenagers here at the 2021 Granite Games. Paige Powers, 18 years of age.
She quite hasn't found the same stride that Emma and Val have, but she does have a couple of finishes to really hang her hat on. She opened up the weekend with a 6th place finish in the 100 back snatch. 11th place finish to close out day number 2 and earn it. And I think a nice strong finish here to close out day number 3 would be a good way to build some momentum for Paige Powers, who very clearly has a bright future ahead of her.
Paige Powers, 2 more reps to go with these 9 devil presses to finish. I think one movement that is probably getting overlooked is that last 15-yard dumbbell overhead lunge. In past years, we've seen it with kettlebells. And if it's a dumbbell, it's 1 at the rack, 1 overhead. Big difference when you're using 2 overhead.
And especially as athletes have to probably shift their stretch a little bit and press out some of those dumbbells overhead. It's just another little spice factor being added to the shoulders and triceps when you have to stabilize those dumbbells overhead to close out your weekend.
Paige Powers is being matched up in lane number 8 is Faith Ferguson. It's the battle of the superhero super names going side by side.
Gotta love that alliteration.
Paige Powers making her way down the 15-yard our dumbbell overhead lunge. Taking a break at the first section. You see those broken down at 5 yards at a time. Faith Ferguson above her in lane number 8, still going. Now that carrying that she is the dumbbell, that's more reminiscent of a weight distribution like you see for a kettlebell, which is a little bit easier than 2 dumbbells.
Where the dumbbell sits, it's so
3,
bottom heavy. That's
2,
where it kind of rests on the back of the wrist there.
1.
It's